Hi, Michael, a Mercedes guy here, and on 111 coupes and very early 114 coupes, you have a problem adjusting this door glass so that when you roll it up, it stays seated in this channel. What happens is the window tips backwards. Now, if you have an early car, they don't have two adjustment stops. And I'll show that here. This is an early 111 door. You've got one stop right here, no stop here. This is a later 111 door. It has the early stop here, but it has an additional stop right here that the early car does not have. As a result, early cars, the glass will tend to tip backwards. So, how do you fix that? What I've done for customers is actually put in another stop at the front. Now, you've got to do some fabrication, and it's going to be nice if you got an oxyacetylene welder or maybe even a wire feed. And on the later cars, the stop, there's two pieces. This piece that's on the door and a little tab that's on the frame. This is the tab for the rear. No tab for the front. So how do you install a tab on here? Well, what you do is you unbolt this from the door glass itself. Take the regulator out, and you can buy little L brackets at the hardware store and weld on a bracket in this approximate area right here. So if you're doing this, you've got a door like this. So if you don't have a welder, you can drill a hole and do a countersink and use a flush head screw so it doesn't protrude, because your glass sits right here. And screw one on. If you do screw one on, you need to use an aircraft nut or some kind of locking nut so that you can really get this tightened so it never gets loose. And it's going to be approximately the same position as your rear one. Then, on the door frame itself, you've got to add an adjustment. And again, you can buy something like this at the hardware store. And you're actually, where it needs to mount, this is the rear one, you need to drill right through this area and make a slot like that so that you get it about the right height to make this function. Now you can make this lower if you want, and you can avoid drilling holes for a slot, in which case the bracket would mount approximately like that. Get rid of this thing here. So, something like that. And you want to then drill 2 holes and tap them for machine screws, and have actually this slot go down further so that you have some adjustment. That way you're replicating the later door that has a stop at the front. Basically it's going to be something like that. And you have an adjustment up and down so that when you run your window up, it stops at the front first, which tips the window forward. That way you keep the glass well into the channel and you don't have that backward tip. If you have questions, give me a call. I prefer a telephone call over email, and I don't do texting.